Hi there, this is Nick Devine from The Print Coach, and welcome to this coaching video. We're going to be talking today about a strategy you can use to find new sales and find new business without smiling and dialing on the telephone, without cold calling, and without investing a lot of money in direct marketing. And here's the reason this works. When you look at successful people, one of the things you'll begin to notice is they're good at networking. They can, and that's the strategy we're going to be talking about. They can easily mix and mingle with others in a group. They attract opportunities to them, and they achieve a lot of their business goals and the sales goals because of the networks they've already established. People who are not successful and fail to achieve the goals they've set for themselves tend to be poor at networking, so they don't tend to have a great network of contacts available to them. People who are good at this are the people who attract good quality leads. They are the people who others want to meet, and they are the people who get calls afterwards from others whom they can help and serve. And they're the kind of calls that we want to have. People who are bad at this are the people who, on the drive back from the events, you go to a networking event, they're driving back and they're wondering, why am I wasting my time going to events like this? When you use what you're about to learn in this video, you'll be the person at networking events who has the power and the influence, and you'll be the one who attracts the good quality leads. Most people feel really frustrated after attending any kind of a networking event because they don't feel they've presented their company or themselves as a powerful option for the prospects they want to attract. And if you're not the powerful option, then obviously by default your competition must be. So what we're going to learn in this video is really simple. It's what you say, and what you say in such a way so you attract the right leads for your business. Now, when we say networking can take a lot of different forms. So it can be like an organized event, like BNI is probably one of the ones that's most famous around the world, so Business Network International. But it could also be a networking event at your local golf club where business people are getting together. It could be a networking event at an industry niche market that you focus on. So for me, networking events would happen a lot in the printing industry at association meetings and conferences and things like that. So they happen in lots of different places, and when you're good at it, you have the ability to track new leads into your business. One of the things that I discovered, because this was true for me, is a lot of people, when it comes to networking, tend to be a little bit shy. And this, they're at various levels of discomfort at networking events. So they're not quite sure what to say, they're not quite sure how to handle themselves, they're not quite sure what people are going to think about them. But once you realize that actually a huge number of people at networking events are in exactly the same situation, your whole paradigm about what's going on there tends to change. Because when I started out in networking first, and when I started out in sales first, I was painfully shy, and it's really irritating when I think about it now, but I'd actually proactively look for ways to avoid situations where I'd have an opportunity to network. And I hate to think about the amount of money and the amount of sales I lost because of that lack of a basic sales skill or business skill that I should have had and I hadn't developed. And what you begin to realize is we're not the only people like this. Most people, they don't know how to network, they don't know how to introduce themselves the right way, they don't know what to ask for, they don't know how to ask for it, and they don't know how to get the most out of a networking event. And every networking event that you go to has an opportunity for you. It has an opportunity to maximize sales or profitability in your business some way. So it doesn't matter whether you're a salesperson, whether you're a manager, or whether you're an owner of a company, there are networking events that are available to all of us, and a number of those networking events present opportunities for us where we can attract new business and new sales and new profit opportunities for our company. Now, I'm not going to spend time talking about the basic networking tools, but I'm continually surprised at the number of times that I find people at events where they could be collecting leads and they haven't got the basic tools with them. Three things you need. You need business cards, you need a pen that's got ink in it that can write, and you need cards where you can take notes of the people you've just met, so you're not relying on your memory afterwards. So just business cards, a pen, and note paper. And just make sure you've got those things with you each time you go to a networking event. So we're going to talk about two things in here. So one, some very soft networking questions that have proved time and time again to be very effective. And then we're going to talk about a 60-second networking positioning statement, so how you can use that. And you'll see that format's used in quite a lot of kind of organized networking events. So here's some soft questions you can use. hanging, you walk into a group of people, you don't know them, you're wondering, how do I start the conversation? So an easy way to start the conversation is just walk up to somebody, introduce yourself, and say, hi, what do you do? What is it you do? Another question you can ask, so they say, well, I'm a tax accountant. You say, oh, that's kind of interesting. What do you like most about what you do? Excuse me. And that's an intriguing question, because for us, it may seem like an odd question, but what we're asking is the person who's the tax accountant, that's the thing they spend most of the time doing in their working life, and they want to talk about that, and they want to talk about themselves. And when you ask them, what do you most like about what you do, that gives them an opportunity to talk about the thing they like. Here's another great question. How did you get into that line of business? Somebody says, I'm a tax accountant. Oh, I love it because, I get an opportunity to save people money on the tax, and you can use that for other things in their lives. And you say, that's really fascinating. How did you get into that line of business? And then that gives them another opportunity. Very soft questions really gets the conversation flowing. And then, so they talk about that for a while, and then you say, that's interesting. Accountancy always strikes me as being a competitive business. How do you differentiate yourself from your competition? So now you're starting to get into a little bit of the business conversation, and then you could say, what's the next big trend in that business? You could say, what's the next big trend in the tax business right now? And that's another very soft question to keep the conversation flowing. And here's then another great question. And I get ideas that I can actually use in other businesses that I'm involved in with this business. John, that's really fascinating. What's the most successful thing you've done so far in your company to promote your business? So what's the most successful thing that you do to promote your business? And people give you business growth ideas. Now, sometimes what will happen is they'll say something to you, and you're thinking, I'd like to find out a bit more about that, but you're not sure what question to ask. Here's 3 questions to ask. So somebody says to me, the reason I got into tax accounting was this. And you go, that's really interesting. Tell me more about that. Or, that's fascinating. Can you expand on that? So it just gets it's kind of a prompt to just keep the conversation going. I'm really enjoying talking to you. I'm really fascinated by what you're saying. Tell me more. Another question is, John, obviously, you're at a networking event. What brings you to today's meeting, or what brings you to today's event? And they'll tell you why you're there. Now, what we want to do is we want to help them. So if they're there looking for leads, our goal, just like our customers, is to work out ways we could serve them. Here's an incredible question that's just amazingly powerful. Is you say to them, John, how would I know what a good prospect looks like for you? Because here's what happens most of the time. We're really busy thinking about how we can get other people to give us leads. What we want to do is switch that around and ask them instead, how can we help you? So how would I know what a good prospect looks like for you? And what they'll do is they'll go ahead and describe a good prospect for them. Now, usually, and when I say usually, about 3/4 of the time, not all the time, but about 3/4 of the time, the next question they'll ask is, what's a good prospect for you? So now I have an opportunity to tell them what I'm looking for in terms of a prospect. Does that make sense? So really simple way of doing it. And then you want to obviously have some mechanism. You want to keep in touch with the person you've just been speaking to. So you just say, hey, John, really enjoyed meeting you. Why don't we keep in touch? And then you can swap business cards and make a note what you want to do next. Now, another good thing to do is then, because most people won't make the effort to do this, when you do, you will stand out from your competition, is just follow up with a personal card. So you just get a little personal thank you card or a note card or a compliment slip, something. Just put a note in and say, John, really enjoyed meeting you. I know you mentioned you were looking for prospects like this. I found one for you, or if I do find one for you, I'll be absolutely make sure that I send them in your direction. So they know you've really made a connection and you're really interested in how you can help them. And obviously then they're going to be more inclined to help you. Now, sometimes at networking events, you have what's called the 60-second positioning opportunity. So it might be 60 seconds, it might be 2 minutes, but usually it's not any longer than that. And if you've been to these things before, you know what the format is. There's 6 tables at the event. Each table has got 6 people in it, and everybody stands up for 30 seconds, a minute, maybe 2 minutes at the maximum, and they say, here's what I do, and here's why I'm here at the meeting. Now, most of these are done really badly, so do not do this. Don't say, I'm a printer, and I'm looking for people who buy print, because nobody will know how to find a prospect for you. You may think, well, everybody knows people who buy print. It's too general a question. So what you want to do is this. And I'll give you a summary of these questions. I know I'm going through them quite quickly. I'll give you a summary of them at the end of the video here. So just make an offer to a target market that offers value and differentiates you. So make an offer to a target market that offers value and differentiates you. So we may say, you know, so we're a printer. One of the things we do is we work specifically with schools, with all of their, their marketing materials, their reports, their exam papers, whatever it is, their prospectuses. And what I'd like to do, we've got a special report that we've written, or we've got a special order process. So you obviously create this for whatever the requirement is. So we've got a special order process that we've created for schools, and we normally charge $97 for that. What I'd like to do is, for anybody that makes an introduction here, we're going to give that order process free to that school. So we've now made an offer to a target market that offers value and differentiates you. And then I might say, you know, everybody in this room, or most people in this room, either have children at school, or maybe they're a governor at a school. So if you just make an introduction for us, so what I'm after is either the head, the assistant, or the bursar. So that's the contact that I'm after. And we'll do something really special for them to look after them for you. And then, so I've made an offer to a target market that offers value and differentiates me. So obviously, we've given you some good information. It's going to make a difference when you use it. It's not going to make a difference when you don't use it. And you'll have heard me say that continually in a lot of these coaching videos. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do so you can get value from what you've just discovered. And again, really simple action. Just find one place, just one, where you can network in the next month. So just one. And then use what you learned. And you can use the one-page handout that I've prepared for you. I'll give you that in just a second. Just use what you learned and notice what happens. That's all. So really simple. So one networking event in the next month, and then just use what you learned. So there's a special handout. It's got all the summaries of the questions exactly as you see there. It's got the summary of what to do to position yourself at a networking event, and it's got the fast action plan in there. And here's what I want you to do, is I want you to get involved in the blog, because obviously the blog is there to serve you. It's our way of serving you as a printer or a salesperson in the printing industry. And here's what I'd like you to do in the blog is tell me what's been the most effective networking strategy you've used before, and what results has it produced for you. So what's been the most effective networking strategy you've used before, and what results has it produced for you? And if you've never networked before, what did you learn in this video, and how are you going to use it? So if you've never networked before, what have you learned in this video, and how are you going to use it? So that's all we're going to cover in this video. We'll look forward to catching you. So that's me specifically. I look forward to catching up with you in the next video. Have a great day, and yeah, sell lots. See you on the next video. Bye for now.